Good day everyone, we are the Group 3 and we're going to present to you the framework for conducting industry and strategic analysis. So mayroon kaming dalawang topic. The first is the Porter's 5 forces analysis and the second is the comparisons between the Porter's 5 forces analysis and Pessel's analysis. Porter 5 forces analysis is kilala as one of the most popular model na din-develop for industry analyzing, which is ginagamit ito ng companies para para i-analyze yung weaknesses, yung strength, yung customer, yung supplier, at lalong-lalo na yung competitors nila. So this model is formulated by Harvard professor, which is Michael Porter, in his landmark work na Competitive Strategy, Techniques for Analyzing Industry and Competitors, 1980. So, kilala na ngayon yung as a Porter 5 Forces Analysis. Porter 5 Forces Analysis are threat of new entrants, bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of buyer or customer, threat of substitute, and lastly is the intensity of rivalry.
So, we'll be discussing the Porter's forces analysis. So, there's 5 forces, but I'll be discussing only the first and second. So, the number 1 is the threat of new entrants. So, yung forces na ito is tinitingnan niya kung gaano kahirap or kadali pumasok yung isang business or yung isang company na mag-compete sa isang industry. So, meron ditong tinatawag na high threat and low threat. So, for example, katulad dito sa may nagtayo ka ng katulad sa may high threat, nagtayo ka ng katulad dito sa atin yung mga stall or yung mga stand na coffee shop is, 'di ba, sobrang dami na. So, papasok siya sa may high threat kasi nga sobrang daming competitor and sobrang dali niya lang or madali lang pumasok yung mga competitor kasi hindi yun nagre-require ng sobrang laking capital or mga requirements para makapasok ka. Then yung sa may low threat naman is although mahirap siya pasukin but mahirap siya pasukin pero mas safe naman yung business mo. So, yung income mo is mas magiging safe dahil konti nga lang yung competitors mo. For example, is nagpatayo ka ng pagmamanufacture ng mga kotse or mga motor, since yun nagre-require yun ng malaking capital, is mahirapan pumasok yung ibang business or yung ibang company na makipag-compete sa'yo kasi nga marami pa siyang requirements. Kailangan pa siya i-regulate nire-regulate pa siya ng government, then kailangan pa mabusisi or tinitingnan ng maayos yung mga ginagamit na materials, and lastly is nagre-require siya ng sobrang laking capital. So, the next is the bargaining power of supplier. So, yung force na ito is tinitingnan niya kung gaano ka impluwensya yung mga people na nagsusupply sa business mo ng mga raw materials, parts, or ng mga services. So, we have high power and low power. Sa high power, if yung supplier mo is may mataas na bargaining power, is pwede niya i-dictate yung price or pwede niya rin i-limit yung pagsusupply niya sa'yo. So, by doing this, mas tataas yung cost mo and yung profit mo is mas bababa kasi for example, yung katulad na lang sa may coffee shop, since yung coffee shop is kailangan ng mga beans, so kung yung supplier mo na yun is bigla niyang nilimit kung gaano lang karami yung pwede mong mabili sa isang buwan, is bababa talaga yung mo, since maghahanap ka ng ibang supplier, then maghanap ka pa ng mga ibang supplier, then mas tataas pa yung cost mo. So compare sa may low power, so kung yung mababa yung bargaining power ng supplier mo is magkakaroon ka pa ng maraming options, then ma-negotiate mo pa kung makakapag-negotiate ka pa para sa may mas magandang deals. Then mas nalaki yung profit mo since mas mura mo nakuha yung mga materials na kailangan mo sa business mo.
Force number 3, bargaining power of customers. So, customer bargaining power is their ability to pressure sellers for better prices, higher quality, and improved terms like discount. When this power is high, it lowers the company's profit. So, companies always aim for low customers' bargaining power. So, kung sa Tagalog, ito yung tinatawag natin tawad. So, madalas itong ginagamit if marami or wholesale yung bibilhin natin sa isang tindahan or sa merchant. So, factors that contribute to the bargaining power of customers are the following. The first one is number of customers. So for example, konti lang yung namimili or yung sales ng isang shop at syempre gusto ng seller na makapagbenta ng hindi nalulugis, pwede nyo i-allow na tumawad yung customer. So second is yung customer concentration. So for example, nakafocus yung customer sa high volume na bibili niya, so marami siyang bibilhin kaya malaki yung chance na makapag-bargain siya. So the third one is market competition. So the more competitors, the more chances to bargain kasi madami silang choices at madaling makapag-switch ng pagbibilhan. So, sa fourth one naman is yung product differentiation. So, if unique yung product mo is mababa yung chances na makapag-bargain yung mga customers, unlike na pag marami kang kapareho, madali lang makapag-bargain kasi nga marami silang choices. So, ito namang fourth is the access to information. So, if maraming information yung customer about sa product is madali siyang makakapag-bargain. So, ito fifth threat naman is yung threat of integration. If kayang mag-produce ng customer ng product ng isang seller, is malaking chance na makakapag-bargain siya kasi alam niya yung information about sa mga product na yun. So, first number 4, threat of substitute product. So, substitute products are alternative that serves the same core function as the industry is offering. The fewer substitute available, the more pricing control the industry has. Ito yung alternative items for a product that still fulfill yung mga kailangan mo sa primary item mo. For example, main product mo is yung coffee. So, pwede maging substitute dito is yung tsaa or tea. So, factors that contribute to the threat of substitute are the following. So, the first one is the availability of alternative products. So, the easier to find a substitute product, the higher the threat. So, the second one is the perceived quality. If yung substitute product is the same or equal, yung contribution or even higher pa, is mas tataas talaga yung threat. So, the third one is the substitute with a lower price. If mas lower yung or reasonable yung price ng substitute product at the same yung quality, mas lalaki yung threat sa main product. So, fourth one is switching cost. If it is cheap and easy for customers to switch from the industry's product to the substitute, so the threat is high. The fifth is technological advancement. So, new technology can introduce entirely new substitutes. For example, dito is yung email substituting physical mail, which rapidly increases this threat.
So, good day everyone, and today we will discuss ang intensity of rivalry, which is the force number 5 ni Porter sa kanyang 5 forces framework. And we will also apply this concept sa telecommunication industry, like yung mga telcos na gamit natin araw-araw. Okay, so ano ba talaga itong intensity of rivalry? Basically, ito yung gaano kalakas yung competition ng mga companies na existing sa isang industry. So, kapag sinabing high rivalry, from the word itself, rivalry, high rivalry, ibig sabihin super aggressive yung yung competition nila para sa market shares, ganun. Saboy yung ang pinakita din nito yung madalas nitong pagresulta ng sa mga price wars, yung mga tipong pababaan ng presyo. In the end, yung resulta nun nagigi-reduce ng profitability para sa lahat. Mas mababa ang kita nila kasi nga nagpababaan sila ng presyo at mas mataas yung gastos nila sa advertising. So, next slide naman tayo. Ito naman yung mga factors na nagpapalakas o nagpapahina ng rivalry. Una nito yung number and concentration of rivals. Logic lang yan. Ito yung lang nito yung mas maraming competitors, mas matindi yung labanan. So, pero may exception sa Philippines, yun yung mga telco industry nga. dahil nga konti lang sila, like 3 to 4 major players lang, pero bakit intense pa rin ang nila competition? So dito na papasok yung product homogeneity. Pangalawa, yung product homogeneity. Kung yung products ay halos pare-pareho na lang, like basic costs and tax and services, sana lang magkakatalo. Syempre sa presyo, wala nang choice kundi mag price war. So dito na rin papasok yung pangatlo, yung market growth. So pangatlo tayo sa market growth. So yun lang, imagine may maliit ka na cake, so pero marami kayong gustong kumuha. Syempre magagawan kayo pag slow yung market growth. Pag slow yung growth ng market, so mas magiging fierce yung labanan kasi nga kailangan nilang agawin yung customer sa other competitors. So ito naman yung ito pa yung ibang factors na sa porters. So advertising and marketing. So kapag aggressive yung advertising nila, pilit nilang binabato yung mga attention ng consumers sa kanila, which is naturally makes the competition more intense. Sa switching cost naman, so ano ba yung switching cost? So yung gastos or hassle na may experience ng customers kung lilipat sila ng brand, kung mas mataas yung switching cost. So halimbawa nito, may contract termination fee ka or mawawala ka ng loyalty points mo, so mahina yung rivalry para sa existing sellers kasi nga nakalock in na yung customers nila. So protection ito against the competition. So dito tayo sa excess production capacity. So kunwari yung telco ay may sobrang capacity sa network nila, syempre isipin nila, sayang to, so let's cut the price para magamit yun. So this tempts them to cut the prices, which heightens the rivalry. So dito naman tayo sa case study, telecommunication industry. So i-apply naman natin yung telco industry sa Pilipinas, and ang fact pattern ay few players, so pero intense yung labanan. So at high outlay at malaking pera ang kailangan para magpatayo ng towers. So yun nga ang pinakamahalaga dito, or yung pinakaimportanteng role ng switching costs. Dahil may mga termination fees or loyalty rewards na nakalock in tayo, katulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, kaya protected yung mga existing telcos from the competition. So pero bakit high pa rin yung rivalry? So dahil nga sa substitutes, ang dami nating apps na pwedeng gamitin for calls, text like Viber, Messenger, etc. So yung mga subs na yon nagpapakip sa presyo at serbisyo ng telcos, kaya may protection sila at high pa rin yung pressure sa kanila to compete. So ayun, paano natin ma-manage yung high rivalry or yung mga strategies na kailangan gamitin. So paano kung high nga yung rivalry, diba? So hindi naman pwedeng puro lugi lang, dapat may mga strategies yung mga companies. So isa na dito yung product differentiation. So instead na makipag-compete sa presyo lang, mag-offer sila ng mga unique services or executive features. For example, mas mabilis na 5G or unique content bundles, diba? So sa cost leadership naman, kung hindi talaga may iwasan yung price war, dapat sila may mga pinakamababang operating cost. So para this allows them to offer the lowest price pero may kita pa rin. Sa strategic alliances and loyalty, so mag-form nga ng joint ventures, yung merger and acquisition para mag-expand sila, and most important mag-focus sa customers loyalty. Kapag may loyal yung customer mo, syempre hindi ka na makagawa ng kalaban kahit mag-cut pa sila ng mga presyo. So yun lang po, maraming salamat, thank you po.
So punta naman tayo sa comparisons between Porter's 5 forces and Pestle models. Yung dalawang models nito, which is yung Porter 5 forces and Pestle models, is pareho silang ginagamit ng companies to identify the competitive positions in the market. The first comparisons of these two models is, una, yung Porter's models is ginagamit siya ng company to identify the power or influence exists in the industry, in the given industry, while the Pestle models is ginagamit siya, or yung layunin niya is to determine the impact of the factors in a macro levels may have to companies' competitive positions. Number 2 is yung Porter models. In-evaluate niya yung 5 forces, which is yung bargaining power ng customers, ng suppliers, at yung iba pa, yung 3 nabanggit o yung 5 nabanggit ni Ken, ni Jose, ni Patrick sa unang reports. So in-evaluate niya yung 5 forces na yon, kung saan that make an industry attractive, while helping individual companies para malaman yung strength and weaknesses nila. While yung PESA models naman is ina-analyze nila yung various factors na nakaka-apekto sa entity and sa competitive standing ng company. So lastly is yung porter models, ina-identify niya yung 5 forces, which is yung competitive rivalries, barriers to entry to an industry, supplier power, customer powers, and yung threat of substitute products and services in a market. While yung PESA models naman is yung factors na ini-examines niya is about political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal, and environmental factors. So, yun lang po, and good day everyone.